Camille, you want to go ahead and get started?
Sure.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Happy 2021. This is Camille Jackson. I am the membership chair. We have great content for you today. We're going to be talking about our new president, Joe Handy. He's going to greet us and have several remarks. As well, we're really excited to connect with you to share some of the content and programming that we're having for 2021. So we are going to move into our new segment and go over the agenda. We're going to have a short icebreaker. 2020 has been a very tumultuous year. So we want to see how you went through the year. What are some of the things that you did? And we'll also have our president, Sharice Williams, do a president's address for the chapter. We will go over our chapter review. We'll talk about membership. We'll talk about opportunities as well for our committees. And we'll get a chance to meet our board chairs, which is my favorite part. And at the end, we're going to have a breakout session. Because of 2020, we haven't been able to network, engage. So we wanted to really have breakout sessions and really talk about several topics that interest you, whether that's networking for business, really getting to broaden your network personally, professionally. So that's going to be a nice treat at the end of the program. And we have 3 rooms that we will have open. Hustle Hard, that is primarily a networking room where if you're transitioning in a career, anything like that, if you know of any other opportunities, you can share with these individuals. Our next room is Network and Chill. These are for those that are, again, looking to broaden their personal relationships, professional. If you're new to Dallas, if you know of a great restaurant you want to share, it's kind of laid back and just really getting to know each other. And our Student Connect, individuals that are in school, whether it's undergraduate or graduate. This is an area where you can really talk about internships or any other possibilities, study groups that would be focused on those. So our first icebreaker, and you can put this in the chat, share something positive that has happened to you in 2020. We really want to see what really came out of it, as it was a very tumultuous year. And one of my members will read some of the chats so we can share that. Actually, I can see some of the chats. So some of them, more free time. Okay, got engaged. Congratulations. And you got your PMP, that is huge. We did have a PMP study last year. Hopefully you used our Black MBA services to get your PMP. Your oldest son graduated from high school. And this is important, spending a lot of time with family. You spend a lot of time with your daughter cooking. It's all about family. And I think a lot of us really got reconnected with our family and how important it is.
Camille, I'm going to interrupt you. I put our survived. I think we need to shout out everybody surviving 2020. So thank y'all for being here. We're still here. That's obviously great. So I just want to make sure y'all acknowledge the fact that we're here, right?
Yes. And we're going to have a fabulous year. You know, it's really going to be all about renewing, refreshing, and resetting. And that's going to be our theme for 2021. We're really focused on that. A lot of our programming is around that, also around our pillars. So we're really going to make 2021 the best that we can. So keep your...
Can I shout out Daryl, lost 25 pounds? That's great, because I think most people gain pounds, right?
Yeah.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
So shout out Daryl for losing the weight. I probably picked it up for you.
Absolutely. That is huge. And someone got their MBA. So keep them coming in. We're going to move forward within our program, but keep the chats coming in. And I want to introduce our chapter president. She is going to provide an address for us, really talk about how the chapter is going to be moving forward. And afterwards, we're going to have remarks from our association president, Joe Handy, to share several remarks as well. So Sharice?
Yes, thank you. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but many of you saw me in January. I was technically pregnant at that time, no one knew. But I had a baby in COVID. So that was an interesting experience, but now she's 4 months old, which is crazy. So even my board hasn't seen me with the big bump. Like I said, I did gain those 25 pounds that you lost, Daryl. But before I actually jump in, there's one thing we skipped over. Camille, can you go back to the agenda? Because I want to show you guys a really cool way that we're going to capture questions during this chat today, okay? Because as you see, if we took questions through chat, it would just be a lot of conversation and it'll be hard for us to really retain those key questions. So what I would ask you all to do, if you haven't done this in your corporate job, actually my job does this, is go to pigeonhole.at. You'll see that on the screen, www.pigeonhole.at. And in fact, if you're into technology, you can take your phone and hover over that QR code and the website would actually pop up there, okay? Now, when you do that, go to passcode 1920-1920. And that is a way where you can start asking questions. Now, the cool part about this is that many of you all have the same question, right? So if you see the question on there, just vote on it. And that means that that question is important. And so when it's time to do Q&A at the end of the session, we'll see all the key questions that rise to the top. And that means that more than one member has asked that question. Now, if you have a question and no one else has answered or asked, that's okay too, because what we're going to do, we're only going to have limited time for Q&A. And what we're going to do at the end, and probably by tomorrow, you'll have a follow-up email with a survey, some key links. Guess what, guys? We have a shop on our website. Don't go there now because we got to focus on this session, but we have some great merchandise on our website now that you can purchase. But ultimately, we're going to send an email on Sunday and answer any of those questions that were not answered, okay? So again, and thank you for the congrats, Raji. Good to see you virtually. So again, go to pigeonhole.at anytime throughout this conversation. If you have a question, just type it in there. If you see a question you like, vote on it, and we'll make sure we get to that question towards the end, okay? And you'll see more instructions throughout the session as well. So if you forget this, no worries, we'll come back to it. All right, thank you, Camille, for allowing me to talk through that. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit and then I would love to introduce Joe. He only can be here for just a minute. And so I definitely want to have our new president address you. This quote I put here because I think it's important as we focus on this theme of the year, renew, refresh, reset, right? And this quote means everything to me because I actually never turn off my phone and I need to. In fact, I might do it right now. We never unplug things. Do you guys unplug things? I don't. And we need to. Almost everything we work will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including yourself. And so hopefully you all have had that opportunity to unplug just a little bit over the holidays. And if you can even unplug for the next 2 hours, just take a break, release everything from your mind. You know, this is a crazy year. I feel like I've seen a lot of memes. If you know me, you know I pass a lot of memes over to folks. And there was one recently where it's like this is just a continuation of 2020, right? I want my 7-day refund, right? Because this week has just been chaotic. And hopefully there's some positive stuff on the horizon. It will be, right? And so just take some time to really renew, refresh, reset. You'll see that theme come through, not just from our headquarters, through our chapter and through other chapters as well, all right? So I'm going to give a little bit insight into the Black MBA, but then Joe, I'm going to pass it to you because you are the expert, okay? And so our president CEO is Joe Handy. A new CEO just joined us in September of last year, and we're so grateful to have him on board. We are headquartered in Atlanta, established in 1970. So last year was actually our 50th anniversary. We didn't celebrate it the way in which we really wanted to, but if you joined our conference last year virtually, you saw that we gave it our best attempt to do so. We have 40 chapters now across the country, 20,000 members, 500 partners, over $1 million in annual scholarships. And you know, with the DFW chapter, we give out a lot of scholarships as well, with 1,000 job placements. And so our mission is, I'm gonna read it because I think it's very important, it's on the screen, but we are to lead in the creation of educational, wealth building, and growth opportunities for those historically and still underrepresented throughout their careers as students, entrepreneurs, and professionals. That's all of you. We're here to serve you, and we've been around for 50 years. I know that a peek under the tent, there's more to come, right? We know that we need to pivot and do things differently. In fact, I would say 2020 has forced us to do that, right? And so with that, Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you to welcome.
Well, Ms. Williams, thank you so much for the opportunity to meet with this group. And I really appreciate you guys inviting me to as you kick off this new year. I would say I'm very excited about all of the potential and possibilities and all of the things that we will accomplish in 2021. You stated earlier that 2020 was sort of this year that caused us to pause and reflect. There's sort of been the tale of 2 years, so to speak, because in one hand, we've had horrific events that took place in 2020. But on the other hand, there were silver linings that allowed for us to really appreciate where we were, appreciate family, and appreciate the spotlight that has been shed on our community and the disparities that exist within the Black community in particular. So as we start to look at what we will accomplish in 2021, 2020 has sort of laid the foundation. We've embraced a virtual conference, and now we have an understanding of how people receive both in-person conferences and virtual conferences. And one of the silver linings that had come out of having a virtual conference was it allowed for us to have reach and impact to those who had the hurdle of travel. So now we know, especially with our HBCUs and those students that aren't able to make it or travel to a conference, we have a way of touching those individuals as well and give them the experience that they could have at a conference. So so once again, that is just a glimpse of some of the highlights that took place in 2020 that allowed for the foundation for us to look at 2021. In addition, we are positioned to have a huge voice within our community and within America, and we need to leverage that voice. We need to make sure that we're heard. We need to make sure that we're capitalizing on all of the incentives and all of the media announcements that have been made about the impact that these companies want to have in the Black community. We need to hold these companies accountable for living beyond the hashtag. So a lot of companies have been very comfortable saying that they support Black Lives Matter, that they support growth, economic growth, educational growth within the Black community. But this is a year that we need to hold them accountable for that. So as we embark on all of the initiatives that we have this year, we have to leverage our voice and we have to become more, increase our brand so that there's brand awareness and make sure that we're having that impact in our community and serving the folks that this association is built for. I'm excited to be a part of this team. I'm excited to work with each and every one of you in the trenches as we continue to solidify our vision and solidify our mission. We are in a position where the world is looking at us and the world is sort of coming to this reckoning of saying how they need to invest within our communities. And we can't let that go to the wayside. So as we look at, and as headquarters looks at, how do we leverage the events that took place? We have to work with each other, and we have to ensure that we're listening to all of our constituents, we're listening to all of our chapters and understanding how we can eliminate the obstacles that exist to allow for all of you to do the good work that you're here to do. I've never worked for a group of more passionate people, and I'm elated and excited each and every day about all of the opportunities that exist for not only National Black MBA Association, but for our community as a whole. So with that, I don't know how we want to continue this dialogue. I'm open to answer any questions that you may have. As it relates to what I'm planning on doing this year, it really focuses on leveraging the statements that have been made by a lot of companies, enriching those relationships that we have with our current partners, and increasing our brand awareness so that not only is our voice heard, but when people think about how they can invest in the Black community, they look at National Black MBA Association. So in a nutshell, that's essentially what my charge is for this 2021 year.
Great, thank you for that. So we are going to have Q&A. Again, Pigeonhole is going to be, we're going to have questions at the end of the program. Sharice, would you like the questions to remain at the end for the CEO?
Yeah, well, Joe, I know you only can be here for a few moments, but I guess if there's any questions, if you guys want to actually just throw that in the chat, that may be a lot easier.
I apologize if I'm disrupting your flow.
No worries. I think if there's any, we could take maybe 2 questions for Joe. And again, if there's any other questions that may come up, we would absolutely push it up towards Joe and get that answer for you pretty quickly. But if you do have a question for Joe, throw that in the chat. And that way we can get him to answer that pretty quickly before we move on with the rest of the agenda.
If you don't mind, I'd like to make another comment because I want to make sure that everyone on this call recognizes that this is not a one and done for me. I hope to be engaged with you. I hope that I get an invite again. And I hope to be able to have this dialogue with you on an ongoing basis. So I don't want to, if there's questions that you have for me, don't think of it as you have this one moment to ask these questions. I'm here. And so if you want to send me an email, I believe everyone has my email address. If not, it's joe.handy@nbmbaa.org. And you can email me anytime. And I'm here. So I want to be a part of what you guys do. And I hope to be sort of a tool that you guys can use to remove any obstacles that you have in getting the work done that you want done. Thank you, Ebony.
All right. Well, I don't see any key questions, Joe, but if some do come up, we will absolutely ping you and get you back on here, okay? We do have a great, just so you know, Joe, we have a great corporate partner kickoff that is happening in 2 weeks with Hilti, one of our great partners, and I don't know if any of them are on the phone, but that's our next event. Members will get more to that, but Joe, we do have some events upcoming. We would love to have you check out virtually if your schedule allows.
Absolutely. Thank you all. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but
well, actually, Joe, I'm sorry, there is one question, okay. And I think it is important to maybe for you to address.
Okay.
With career fairs moving to a virtual platform, and I know we've been talking about what the stage would be for 2021. How will an organization like ours make money?
Can you ask the question one more time? I want to make sure that I got it.
With career fairs moving to a virtual platform, how will the organization make money?
I think there's still ways. Well, let me just say this. The association historically has looked at the conference as a way and put a lot of focus and a lot of energy on an event that takes place once a year. What we have to do when I talk about brand awareness is we have to grow the programs that we're offering, thereby growing the opportunities for us to solicit revenue. So we can't just look at, so career fair, that's a good example because if there were other revenue sources or other means to generate revenue, we wouldn't be putting all of the eggs in one basket. So throughout this year, we have to look at expanding the programs that we have so that there exists other revenue opportunities. So with career fair being virtually, I would say that we have to look at other ways to collect funds. And I think that we need to, one of the other things that this year has taught us is that we have to pivot. We have to figure out other ways to do things that we've accustomed to doing. So I would be open to any conversation that we have that we can talk about how you adjust and how do you pivot in changing to a virtual platform. But there exists opportunities even in a virtual way of collecting money or making that sort of a value proposition for career fair. So I would say let's get creative and figure out different ways that you can solicit funds.
Thank you for that. And there's actually one other question, but I think, Joe, it'll be great if you were on in case you can add any additional commentary around the LOT, our Leaders of Tomorrow case competition, and how that is typically held. I would say for our members, our LOT, obviously, if not obvious, we are moving virtually this year with our LOT program. It's actually kicking off. Normally, we have kicked it off in October. We are kicking it off the new season actually this month, next week. and it will run through the next 7 months. Joe, do you want to handle how the case competition, which is a national forum of all the law chapters, do you want to address how that will be held this year?
I don't have an answer for that, quite honestly. I can look into it and I can get back to the group, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely get back to you, Larry, which is Larry's one of our lifetime members, whose son is actually one of our case competition winners. But we'll absolutely get back to you guys on that, because it is important. We've had to put a lot of thought into how we run our Leaders of Tomorrow program. Again, for many of you who may not know, we have 60 students that typically are in our mentoring program, and we typically host it at SMU. We obviously want to be conscious of the environment and our safety protocols, and we're moving straight virtual this year. So more to come.
Can I ask a question? You said that you typically started in September, but this year you're going to start in February or January? Yep,
we're started this month. Mm-hmm.
What was the trigger for starting earlier?
We'll actually start a little bit later. Typically we have October through June, and this year, just given a lot of the uncertainties, we wanted to just see how things look before we started again.
So just from clarification standpoint, you didn't have one in 2020 that you would have started in September, and you delayed it until January?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, just compressed it a little bit, same great content, but just a little bit compressed just to accommodate what's going on.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I hope to get an answer to you.
Yes. From what I've heard, at least, Joe, and again, you can circle back, is that it may be virtual, given that typically case happens in June. And I think pretty much H1, at least from the way our chapter is operating, everything through the first half of the year will stay virtual. But the more as things pivot, as that vaccine gets out there, we may make some hard pivots, and we absolutely will keep our members informed along the way.
Well, once again, I apologize for not having an answer for that in particular, but I will find out and get back to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I don't see any other questions, but if you do, again, have questions for Joe, you can throw them in the chat, but then I also encourage you to use the Pigeonhole platform that we're using to capture all questions, and we'll respond towards the end. All right, well, we'll keep this train moving. Joe, any final words before we pass it off?
No, the only thing I would say is, once again, I just want to thank you guys for the invite, and I look forward to having more of these conversations and more dialogue with you all.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, and so let's continue on, and I'm so grateful to have Joe join us. And again, as you mentioned, as any key pertinent events that we have, we'll absolutely invite him. Because all 40 chapters are moving virtual, it may be tough to get him every time, but we'll certainly try. So with our organization, again, we've been empowering visionaries since 1989. These photos are from our founder, Toby Cox. And as you can see with some of the images, they are old school, right? But we've been around for a while, and it's always great to just nod to where we've been. In fact, what I love about these images, it's a little bit cut off, but you see Jesse Jackson's head, at least, at the bottom, and you see Auntie Maxine over to the left, who always is courageously fighting for us in Congress. But if you want to move to the next slide, this is us now. More vivid pictures, right? But this is us, and unfortunately, we have not been with each other since really that top left picture, which is with me and a few of our chapter presidents, and I know a couple of them are actually in the audience now. But it's been a while since we've been able to reach out and touch each other, which is really unfortunate. But I'm so grateful that you all have stayed committed to us, and that is represented by you just attending this kickoff with us virtually on a Saturday. So I appreciate you all, but I like this image because it just reminded me that we need to get back together again one day. So let's move on to the next slide. So if you've been around for a while, you would probably know my spiel and can probably do it better than me at this point, but there's always a lot of new folks. And so similar to if you were at church, you gotta have that moment, that 5 minutes at this point, virtually, where you reach out and touch and grab the new folks that are in the room. So you'll hear me talk a little bit about the organization that may be existing news for many of you. But our mission is actually pretty straightforward, and it's a continuation of the mission of the organization broadly, right? And we are here to facilitate connections. So you heard me talk about, and you heard Jill talk about why we're here nationally. Locally, we're here to do the same thing. And we're just going to have some slight nuances as it applies to the DFW Metroplex and all the great corporations that are moving here. So we want to facilitate connections and growth opportunities for you, our DFW African-American professionals, corporations, and the community through an integrated 360 approach. So you will see us talk about lifestyle, career, education, leadership, and entrepreneurship. And we recognize that that has evolved actually over the years, and especially in 2020. So we're here to evolve with it. We are really proud to say that although we didn't have an in-person conference in 2020, we did have a virtual conference, and we were recipients of an award. We are known for getting awards, and we were awarded for membership growth in 2020. That's huge. And as you can see off to the right, again, we're no strangers to getting awarded for all the great work that our chapter is doing. And we couldn't win those awards without you, our members, entrusting us with your career, our corporate partners for entrusting us with your D&I initiatives, and the community as well. So thank you for allowing us the Membership Growth Award. We grew over, I think, over 300. So thank you. A virtual round of applause for supporting us and helping us stand out amongst the 40 chapters across the country. Next. So, you know, as I was preparing to talk through our strategy for the year, I'm gonna be honest with you. I use the same slide I used in 2019. I have not changed a word on here, because technically strategy should be long lasting. You shouldn't change up your strategy every couple of years, unless, right, there's some huge major shifts that are happening. We certainly had a shift economically, but our mission and purpose are still remain. And so what we were charged to do in 2019, we're going to continue to do in 2020, we're going to continue to do in 2021, which is expand our reach. We want to continue to deepen our network and grow our membership by 300. 300 is that number that we aim for every year. And we, again, want to continue to target Fort Worth and continue to outreach to the West. That doesn't mean we're going to not take care of our folks in Dallas County and all the counties over in the East, but we know there's a ton of professionals, a ton of students and corporations out West that frankly we have not driven over there before. Now in a virtual environment, there should be no issues in making sure that we reach out and touch those over in the West in Tarrant County. Number two, we want to deepen our programs and offerings. We want to support our membership with diverse topics and leverage technology. I put this in here in 2020, even more so now because that was before the pandemic. And so now that we know that we have to stay in a virtual environment for a little bit longer, you will see us start to continue incorporate technology, including one thing that we really want to do, and it's up to you all to sign up for it, text messaging. Now, I get a ton of text messages from people and companies that feels like spam. We don't want to spam you, but we want to be accessible. We want to make sure we're top of mind. And so we're going to give that a go this year. It's totally opt-in. But if you feel like it's easier or helpful for you to get a text message to say, hey, we have a Hilti Spotlight coming up in 2 days. Do you want to sign up? If that's helpful for you, we want to allow that option for you. So you'll see that coming through with us. Again, continue to leverage Zoom platforms. We're going to incorporate other platforms as well as it makes sense. But always continue to use our social platforms as well. That is where we will continuously provide great content and events for you all. And number three is elevate our impact. We want to support the advancement of our membership and the careers in the community. That is what we're here to do. And so any way that we can innovate on that key bullet, we will absolutely do so. So in order for us to be successful, we need your feedback. You will see that we send surveys after every meeting. We need you to respond to the surveys. That lets us know how we're doing and how we can improve and pivot on the spot, okay? Next, And so this is a slide that I will leave off on, I believe. But this is our board. This is a board that's been with us through the gruesome year of 2020. And I just want to stop and commend them for still that we still met monthly, virtually. We still dedicated the time to serve you all amidst all the personal things that were going on with us. And so again, a virtual round of applause to our board for holding on with us. And so you'll see myself, you'll see the board pop up. So I won't drill through this list here, but you'll see us pop up with our fancy backgrounds here. But if you see us virtually, give us a shout. We're happy to support you in your mission. And I always encourage you to find us on LinkedIn. And we're always here to help answer any questions along the way.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Sharice.
Thank you, Camille.
That was great information. As she stated, 2020 was a beast of a year. We are renewed. We're going to have a lot of great changes, great content. And I think under Joe's leadership, he's really going to bring us through that. And if you're available next week, Tuesday, he will address the entire association. He's going to have a candid conversation about his vision for the National Black MBA Association. It will be on Tuesday, the 12th, from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. So if you have time, please chime in. Emails have gone out. You can register for that. So I think it's going to be very important for us to really understand where he's going to take the association. And as well, we're going to send out a survey to see how you feel about today's event, and as well, what you're looking for 2021 in terms of programming. So please answer the survey. It will be sent out on Sunday, and we will continue to engage. So our next icebreaker in the chat, what's the weirdest trend to come out of the quarantine that you feel? What's the weirdest trend? I think this pandemic, it really changes the way, it's changed the way we do a lot of things, the way we work. Everyone's working from home now. But what do you feel is the weirdest trend to come out of the quarantine? Baking bread. Okay. Okay. Yes, more people are washing their hands. Yes, which is a good thing. That is an amazing thing. Okay, making banana bread. Okay. Business on top, leisure on the bottom. TikTok obsession, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, sanitizer and gum. Yeah, wearing masks is like second nature now. Like that's just what you do. Reading people's eyes and facial expressions behind masks. Yeah. Zoom fatigue. I am so with you. Definitely Zoom fatigue. Mirror home gym. Yes. I do find myself working out more because it's boring, nothing else to do. I try not to eat. So instead of eating, I try to work out. So parties in the front yard, Peloton. I haven't gotten that yet, but that's definitely a good one. That's great. Smiling with your eyes. Absolutely. Okay. Keep those ideas coming in. That's great. Air hugs. All right. Keep your ideas coming in. We are going to move along. And this is the demographics of our membership. As Sharice stated, you know, we've grown. We received an award for our membership growth, and we continue to grow. And I think this is a great time to join the organization if you're not a member today. Again, we have a lot of great content, making those connections. And as you see on the slide, it's a very diverse industry where you can really engage people and meet people from other industries in the event you're looking to stay within an industry, change an industry. 21% are in banking and financial services, 21% in accounting, with engineering, healthcare. So I think this is a great way to move your career forward in engaging and networking with individuals of like minds or unlike minds, that's really opposite of what you do today. We have an age demographic as well, and 46% of our chapter have their MBA, 31% bachelor's. So we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to diversify our chapter. But again, I think this is a great time to join the organization as we create our initiatives. Later in the program, I'm going to talk about committees. And this is a great time to join committees because you're going to be a part of creating those initiatives and great content for the chapter. And I would like to introduce Eric Hamilton. He is really leading our strategic sponsorship and partners, and he's going to share additional information for you.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning, and thank you for the introduction, Camille. So my name is Eric Hamilton. My role with the organization is Strategic Partnership Chair. So our job is pretty straightforward. Sharice mentioned it earlier. We facilitate connections. So we talk to some of the largest companies in DFW as well as the US. And we're essentially just identifying those companies that have initiatives around hiring diverse workforces, which, as you guys know, simply every organization has some kind of initiative toward it. So we've got some partners on the line today, but if you have not been a part of the corporate spotlights that we do, the last one that we had was with McKesson, one of the largest companies in America. And they did a really good job of explaining and really diving into depth about their organization, what they're looking for. And they've got some very aggressive hiring practices around diversity. So I highly advise you guys to our upcoming corporate spotlights that we have coming up with Hilti in a couple of weeks, followed by Brinker. And if you haven't heard of Brinker, if you've ever sat in Chili's or Maggiano's, that's owned by Brinker International. So again, in summary, that is our job. These corporations are looking for diverse professionals. And I think at our organization, this Dallas-Fort Worth chapter, we have some of the most diverse and professional dynamic individuals in the state. And so that's our role, that's our job. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but you see the list of our current partners, ranging from CBRE, EY, TCU is a recent school that we brought on board, outstanding organization, McKesson, United Health Group, Hilti, Allstate, Brinker International, SMU Cox, Open Door, and University of Dallas. So again, these are organizations that if you have some time, go to their website. And if you see an opportunity or a job that fits your background, what you're looking for, apply. And if there's a source code, National Black MBA. If there's anything I can do for you to help, please let me know. But I will be hosting the Hustle Hard session later on, so more information to come. I'm not hyping up my session. All of them will be great, but the Hustle Hard session will be outstanding.
Yes, great. Thank you, Eric. Yes, definitely. All sessions are going to be amazing. So please try to stay on and listen to what we're going to have. And, you know, as Eric said, a lot of organizations are really changing their view on diverse talent. They are really looking for top talent. And as you know, our chapter, we have top talent. Another great reason why you should become a member, you will have direct access to our sponsors. As you become a member, you would register for that. And at the end of those sessions, we'll have intimate meetings where members only can have direct access to the sponsor. So for Hilti, for example, after that session, we'll have an intimate meeting. So very important, very important. And again, great reason to become a member. So programming, again, we are really focusing in on our renew, refresh, and reset theme. We have great programming coming up. As Eric said, Hilti will be on the 21st. Another favorite of mine is going to be in March. It's called The First 90 Days. It's a professional development book, and we're going to have a presentation where this session is going to really provide principles on how to be successful as you transition, whether it's transitioning to a new organization, transitioning to a new role, how to be successful, because when you start and do that change, it really sets you up for your future career and how you excel within your career. So I think it's going to be a really great program for you to get some good nuggets. And we have a sports management event. So this will be on our website, our calendar next month. So please check it out. But we really put a lot of thought and really hard work into this programming for 2021. So check out our website in February and you can get more information there. This is my favorite part. I have two favorite parts, the membership piece and committees piece. So this is a screen of our various levels of membership. There are a lot of benefits to being a member. If you attend our national conferences, it's $150 off that registration fee. As well, you have access to scholarships in major universities, webinars and seminars. As you know, a lot of our programming has gone virtual. And I think we have a level for everyone based on where you are in your career. For future professionals, that's primarily for high schools, for undergraduate students, for students that are enrolled in an accredited college, for undergrad and graduate. And we also have young professionals, and experienced professionals. What you don't see on the screen is entrepreneur level. That is a new level that we've developed, and that is for individuals that operate and own their own business. That level is $150 annually, but we have a lot of entrepreneurs in our chapter, so we really wanted to have a special level for them. So that would be available to you, and all of that information, again, is on our website in the event you are interested in that. And what I notice is not discussed a lot as it relates to our various levels. We have a career success network. And that really is a portal that's on our website where you can post your resume, apply for jobs, and connect with recruiters throughout the year. It's a great benefit, and it's a great tool to add to your job search. You can even create job alerts, as you go through your search. And even if you're not looking, if you're passively looking, it doesn't hurt to get those job alerts out. You never know, your next opportunity may be there. And we also have a gold key access. Gold key access, that is for professional level membership and above. And this really focuses in on really programming that's especially designed for members who are director level and above, and they're really pursuing an executive level role. It really provides training and webinars for individuals to prepare them for executive level responsibilities. For conferences, they have special events for individuals that are in this program, and you can really have access to sponsors. And I personally had the opportunity to attend an event last year at conference. They had a special session for individuals in this program, and I got to meet the CEO of Walmart, Doug McMillan, which was great. I also met several leaders from Liberty Mutual. So it's definitely an added benefit to really take advantage of the benefits that we have to being a member. So I think that's huge. So any questions on that, again, shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the chat regarding membership, and we can go from there. Second favorite part is our committees. And again, a great time to join. We are creating our initiatives. You can add value. You can really, volunteer your time, and more importantly, volunteer your talent. We have a lot of talent in this chapter. If you are a professional speaker, if you have a certain expertise that you would like to share, we want to use our chapter's talent. That makes sense. That's a reason why you're a member, because we are a professional business association. So in joining these chapters and committees, you will be able to really shine and share your talent. So I think it's very important to give back. And we have several committees, and we're going to meet our committee chairs today. They're going to give you a high-level overview of what the committees are about. They have open positions as well that they'll share with you. And if you're interested in joining, they'll provide that information as well. These are our chapter chairs. We have the LOT, Leaders of Tomorrow, Membership, Strategic Partners, Student Affairs, and Marketing. And as well, we have 2 open roles. chair roles, and the VPs will discuss those open roles. That's for our Community Relations Committee as well as our Programming Committee. So with that, I will start. Again, membership. I lead this chapter, and we really focus on engaging our current members, but more importantly, really getting members to join our chapter, focusing in on programming, really supporting each other, and really understanding how we can support and really have an ROI on the programming that we deliver. Again, you can contact me at membership@dfwmbas.org. I have a growing team. I'm really looking for individuals that are committed and interested in really identifying gaps in supporting our members. We're very interested in seeing what you want to see from us, whether it's events, programming. We're focused in on that. And the open positions that I have would be program leads. A program lead will lead initiatives that the membership committee will put on. So if we decide to have a happy hour, this person would own that event. I also have day of executors. Those individuals will really focus in on whatever is needed to be done that day. They're right there to really support and do what needs to be done. So again, if you need additional information, I'm really looking for committed members. I'm looking for people that are eager to share their ideas and really partner and collaborate. So give me a shout. I'm really interested in really building my team, and we'll go from there. And with that, Tyrone Smith, he is the chair for Student Affairs. Tyrone?
Thanks, Camille, and good morning, all. I'm Tyrone Smith. As Camille said, I'm responsible for student affairs, and really my role of responsibility is really to create a community within the organization to support our students as well as facilitate connections for our students. Throughout the year, we offer various programming opportunities and resources, whether that's equipping our students for workforce entry. From time to time, we also get requests from our students on career opportunities, as well as mentors and coaches from the organization. And what better yet to kind of hear from someone that's actually doing the work, experiencing the work for those careers in which they're aspiring to go into. We have a year slated of outstanding programming throughout the year, professional development opportunities, as well as we have a very engaged committee. So if there's any opportunity for those that are on the call today that want to tap in and get engaged this year, there's opportunity to do that. Feel free to get with me. I'll put my information in the chat, or you can catch me in the Student Connect room. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrone. And Leaders of Tomorrow, we're going to have our VP, Demetrius Washington, really give you a nice overview of our LOT program. Demetrius?
Thank you, Camille. Good morning to everyone. Jeffrey Rhymes actually leads the Leaders of Tomorrow program, and he's not slacking off. He's actually working on that program this morning. If you were on the call earlier, Sharice shared that the program is kicking off next week. And so they're just making preparations for the kickoff, and it's not by chance. So yeah, we did start the program later this year, but really this is also National Mentoring Month, and only 1 out of 3 underrepresented minorities have a mentor when they're in their youth, and we feel it really important that we pour into these students, high school students, and just prepare them for their professional lives. So we focus on many of the same pillars that the chapter focuses on, but also we focus on preparing them for college. So this year that program is running, really we're having 6 meetings, concluding with the case competitions in July. Thank you, Camille.
Great. Thank you, Demetrius. And we have marketing. We have Malika Pittman. She is our committee chair for marketing. Malika?
Yes, good morning, everyone. So I am the committee chair for marketing. My name is Malika Pittman. And as far as the marketing committee goes, we are here to drive awareness for the National Black MBA Association whole, but more specifically for the DFW chapter and all of our chapter events and programming. So by doing that, we oversee all of our digital assets, which includes our social media platform, our website, as well as email marketing. So with that, we do have a great team, but we do have some openings that I wanted to share. One of them is a social media coordinator. And this particular person will help to manage our social media platforms. And new to our committee that we want to add is someone for public relations that's going to focus primarily on ensuring that our chapter is highlighted in position to retain our members as well as partnerships, and also a marketing tech that will be our technical, to assist in our technical side of our platforms and our marketing platforms, and either leading up to and day of for our events and programming, as we do support the entire organization. So if this is something that you're interested in, you have a background in marketing, we would love to speak further with you to join our team. You can contact me at the MKTG chair at DFW MBAs, or if it is in the chat to sign up for the committee. So I look forward to getting to some information. So I'm definitely free and open for that, but we'll love for you to be a part of our marketing committee.
Thank you, Malika. And again, if anyone is interested in joining any committee or just getting additional information, that contact information is in the chat. And actually, we'll try to put that on the survey. We'll put that link on our survey because we would love, again, for you to answer our survey, give us your feedback, how you're feeling, what you want to see from us. We'll put that information on the survey as well. Again, if you just want information on each committee, what we have to offer, and any opportunity that you're interested in, we can certainly give you more information. Okay, Eric Hamilton, he is our chair for strategic partners. He will share what they do and the openings they have. Eric?
Thanks again, Camille. Welcome again. So strategic partnerships, Eric Hamilton. Simplistically, our responsibility is to recruit new corporations or strategic partners and retain them. That's the two things that we do. Right now, we are a two-person crew, Karen London and myself. And so as we go into 2021, what we like to do is we want to take our relationships and what we're doing to the next level. So there's three positions that I would like to see, and three people and positions. So I do not want a large team. We want to keep it very concise. The important part about strategic partnerships is that our role is very important in that you've got to be very engaged and responsible. So, for our role, what we're doing, it can't be something that you have to. You've got to be fully committed for that time that you're going to be a part of this particular team. So the three positions, number one is business development. So if there's someone that has a skill set that they want to get in sales or are in sales, or I would just simplify by saying if they have hustle. If you have hustle and you want to develop your business development aspect of your portfolio, this may be an opportunity for you. So you and I will work very closely in identifying new partners, and I can talk and walk you through that process and what that looks like. The second position is around business relationship development. So think of this as kind of a very organized person. In Karen's role, what she does is she'll touch base with the partners on a consistent basis, have meetings set up, and she needs some assistance. So we need someone that's extremely organized, that's willing to commit time to work at a position like this. And then lastly is the new position that we're thinking about. One of the big initiatives this year is that we're going to do our first career fair. And this will be an opportunity for all of our strategic partners to basically have a career fair with all of our members and guests, as well as other corporations that are not currently members or currently partners, to just have one very large career fair. So I would like someone that has an events background, that has coordinated events in the past, that would be willing to assist and help with that particular piece. And if you're good at your role, then maybe we can also have you assist with the corporate spotlight that we have coming up. So those are the three positions: business development, retention, and day of event or events as a background. So if you have any questions or comments, my information is over here. Can't see my finger. Or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thanks, Camille.
Great. Thank you, Eric. And again, we have programming and community affairs. Ebony will discuss our programming committee as well as the opening for the chair position. So Ebony Williams.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Ebony, and as Camille stated, I'm the VP of Operations. So we do have a void in the programming chair, and that particular person is responsible for executing all the events that have to do with professional development, economic prosperity, and entrepreneurship. We do have a couple events slated this year, but obviously this person will be needed to help put on the events. We're also looking for people on the committee to help execute them, as well as she stated before, getting people to help speak as well. So if you think about some of the things that we went through in 2020, we've had to shift. So we're definitely going to talk about how business and professional development works in this new climate. We always want to talk about the entrepreneur. We'll be speaking specifically to their mindset. I probably think half of y'all probably thought about a side hustle during this time when you were at home doing Zoom calls and kind of tired of the normal job. So we'll think about and talk about that as well. And then just really how we can support each other. So if you're interested in that particular position, feel free to reach out to me. My email is vpops@dfwmbas.org. It'll be posted as well. And you can also sign up on the committee and I'll reach out to you to see how you can assist. Thanks, Camille.
Great. Thank you, Ebony. And Demetrius Washington, he will talk about the Community Affairs Committee in terms of what they do, and he will discuss the open chair position as well. Demetrius?
Yes, thank you, Camille. So community relations, you know, a lot of people think of it as, hey, I want to volunteer, and that is a large portion of what the committee does. But we are also charged with focusing on our wellness holistically. So we did, for example, some workout events last year, even virtually, and we plan to do some more things like that. Things that cater to lifestyle we focus on. We are also charged with fundraising. So not only do we have the open committee chair position, we actually have 5 committee members. Some of them I see in the room, as well as some of the partners that we've worked with, like Paul Quinn College. But we have, you know, if you have any interest in helping out with wellness, if that's a passion of yours, we definitely could use you on the committee, even if you don't want to be the chair. If you have skill with grant writing or fundraising, we could definitely use you on the committee. So feel free to reach out to us and we can leverage you in any way that you want to be used. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Demetrius. Okay, as we move along, stay connected with us. You know, again, virtual world, we can't see each other physically. Let's stay connected with our website, email, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. What I can say is if you join our private Facebook group, and please join our private Facebook group, we have a lot of content in there where others will not have access to. We have special events that are only for private Facebook individuals. I can say last year we had a Netflix party where we all watched the same movie and we had dialogue afterward. And it was really fun. So we have things like that, special events for individuals that are connected with us on social. So please connect with us, you know, as well as LinkedIn. Again, if you're in the job hunt, our group can really help with that. We share open opportunities that we'll hear of. So stay connected as we go through this virtual world, and we'll get through it. So now is the time for our Q&A. We really thank you for joining us today. Again, 2021 is going to be renew, refresh, reset. We appreciate you. We're here for you to support you. And again, please answer the survey. Let us know how you feel. We'll have the committee link on that for you to join or request information. And we can now get into any questions that you may have. Either myself or my team, the executive committee or the board can answer questions that you may have.
Awesome. Thanks, Camille, and thanks, committee chairs, for walking through your respective functions. And I really do hope that we get a lot of volunteers this year. We have a lot to do. And as I mentioned, we're going to take in some Q&A. I see questions populating now, so I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. We still are actually pretty well on time, so that's a great thing. Virtually, you guys can definitely wrap up. We're going to do breakout sessions after this, so please try to stay on and network, but we are doing pretty good on timing, just as an FYI. So go ahead and go into pigeonhole.at 1920, and then we will start answering some of the questions. So Camille, I am going to take over the screen so that I can show the questions that are coming up.
Okay.
All right. Look at all these wonderful people. Again, thank you so much for just joining us on a Saturday. I realize how hard it can be. I literally have a toddler over to my left that I'm keeping quiet with snacks. So I get everything that we've all had to do during this time. And I just appreciate you all for just staying committed to us. All right, I am going to show some of the questions that are coming up. I think you guys should see my screen. Camille, can you see the screen?
Yes.
All right, so there are some questions that are coming in. Please continue to vote on the questions. Thus far, I think I can answer all of them, but if more come in, we'll definitely put a stop to it and ensure that we answer your questions after the session. All right, so I'll start with the one that has the most votes right now, but again, please continue to add those questions and vote on those questions. So have more companies shown interest in leveraging the talents of the Black MBA members in light of the increased diversity efforts that started last year? That's an excellent question. I would say that the answer in short is yes, right? You do see a lot more emphasis on organizations and companies wanting to be affiliated with associations like ours to recruit top talent. But I would also say that we have always, and I'm grateful for this, we've always had a lot of woke partners, if you will, in DFW area that have always understood the necessity of having D&I. So I would say, and Eric, you can feel free to chime in if you've gotten a lot more calls lately. But I would say our partners are pretty consistent. They have always been a part of the mission to have D&I. I think now more than ever, it's about ensuring that those specific roles, right, that are opening up within those organizations, that we can connect the dots for them. Eric, do you want to chime in on any more from your end on any partner engagement you've seen?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So I'll say that I have seen more interest. So we are getting more people, in my prospecting efforts through LinkedIn, I'm getting more people that respond and say that they do have interest in chatting with us. I think the important thing is for our members, what I hear is, the actual job placement. So I think it's twofold. So we have, number one, there is interest from corporations. I think what we want to see is the continued development of moving talent into that pipeline and then moving it to full fruition, which is getting jobs. And so, the corporate spotlights that we have that take place, our ask is, if you have any interest in that organization, attend, apply for the jobs that make sense for you. Because that's when we do our debriefing after those corporate spotlights, that's how those companies use the metrics to say, all right, do we want to continue with this partnership? And so a lot of, for us, it's been a really good turnout. So to answer the question, yes. And I would say what we want to do is continue to focus in on, all right, we've had the interest, but what's next? How many jobs are being placed? And I think that's the facilitation of the connection that we want to make sure from start to finish.
Thank you. Great to hear. And to your point, I think a lot of our partners who have been a part of the D&I journey is really about the retention of that top talent within their organization. And that's absolutely something that we are offering up in our programming. All right, so I'll move on to the next question. I see more coming in. So hopefully you guys find this tool pretty easy to use. Throw those questions in there. We'll probably have another 10 minutes or so that we can answer Q&A. So when do we anticipate in-person events? Great question. We are, like many organizations and in general across the country, we are just making sure that we adhere to the policies, right? We are a large chapter. I didn't mention this explicitly in any of the presentation, but we are over 1,000 members strong, pretty close to 1,100 at this point. That means that if we offer an event and over 100 of you come, which we would love, we're at risk, right? In fact, it could be in some settings over 20 of us, right? So we have been very hesitant to offer in-person events, even doing caps on events, because we know that our members want to get out. So we right now are planning for H1, the first half of the year, to be virtual. Now we also are planning for if we need to pivot, right? If somehow, some way they're like, come on out, we probably would still do so hesitantly, but we are planning to pivot if we need to do some in-person events. The second half of the year, we're planning for in-person, but we also are planning for if we need to pivot and do those virtually. So we're being very conscious of what's going on, especially in Texas, which we all know operates in its own world sometimes. So we're definitely just being conscious. Once we feel safe, and once we feel like you guys can be safe, we will absolutely do those events, okay? Now, if you happen to see me at Target in Las Colinas, I would absolutely stop 6 feet and talk to you. So you may see us in the streets, but we won't do any bigger events for a while. All right, and I'm so sorry about that. We wish we could. All right, looks like this question got voted. What is the format of the 2021 conference, virtual or in person? I really wish this would have been asked while Joe was on the call, but I will tell you what I know today. He may know more than me as of today, but as of today, it's going to be hybrid, which means they are planning to do an in-person conference in Chicago. And they're also planning to do a virtual component of it the week after. That is as of probably 2 weeks ago when I last spoke with the organization. Again, a hybrid conference, half would be, I shouldn't say half, a portion of it, and I believe don't quote me on this because I think things change by the day, but I believe they're going to plan on doing the career portion of it virtually, and then the professional development in person. I could be totally wrong on that, but I do know hybrid is what they're telling us. I also know that by April, they're going to make a hard definitive call on that. So right now it's planning for hybrid as things, especially Chicago, right, which is it's a tough market to try to bring a lot of talent in. So more to come on that, and I'll absolutely keep you all informed as I know more. Okay. Can you register as a member? I love that question. Keep voting on that, everyone. You absolutely can register today. If one of our committee members can drop that link, that would be super helpful. In the chat, you can absolutely register today. And what you would notice is that your registration goes through our headquarters. I don't know if we were very explicit on this part, but your registration goes through our national organization. And then you choose which chapter you want to be assigned to. So you would choose Dallas-Fort Worth. This is key because we have many members who are transient, who are maybe here for just a limited time and want to stay involved with the DFW chapter, but maybe planning to move to California. Your membership will transfer with you. You would just have to go in your account and choose which chapter you want to be associated with. So that's all on you. And we often get people quite a bit who are moving around, and we just want to let you know you can do that. Your membership is national. You are assigned to a chapter. All right. Let's see. The general public thinks this is an exclusive group for Black MBAs. How do you plan on marketing and expanding this group to non-MBAs? Another great question. I think you saw the screen where Camille pointed out that at least half of our members have MBAs, but the other portion do not or have master's degrees in other respective fields. It's a great question because I think people frankly are turned on or off by the name Black MBAs. And this has been a challenge that I would say nationally we have been tussling with for many, many years. We always just try to make sure we talk about it as much as we can and say you don't have to be, you don't have to have an MBA, you can aspire to have an MBA, you could be an entrepreneur. So I think we can do more. To answer your question, we can do more to market and to expand that. But it's sometimes just tough because people go off of our name. And until that day that they may decide to change our name, we'll always have to make sure we reinforce that. All right, what do we have here? Do all activities when in persons take place in Dallas? Any activities in other cities like Plano, Frisco, Las Colinas, etc.? Great, great, great question. All activities, we try to actually rotate. We literally look at a map and try to rotate the Metroplex. And in fact, in 2020, we had many events planned in Tarrant County. including with our partner TCU, who I know has joined today. So to answer your question, we always try to rotate while we're in person because we've done a survey before of where our members live. And you guys are all over the place. In fact, our board is all over the place. So even when we meet as a board, we try to rotate where we meet because we recognize people are coming sometimes 20 to 30 miles out. So when we do get back in person, you will notice that we're going to try to meet, and we try to centralize in Las Colinas, Plano, Frisco, Dallas, et cetera, Tarrant County. The more partners we have, the more we're going to outreach. All right. Other than the case competition or the scale page competition, what are the plans for supporting entrepreneurs locally through events or resources? I am going to gratefully punt that question over to Ebony.
I knew that was going to happen, so I was prepared as I saw the question pop up. There's a lot that we have in store. I honestly would love to talk to you offline. And the reason I say that is because in complete transparency, we always want to support entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurship. However, they're not really well-attended events. So we don't know if we're reaching you correctly, if it's a timing thing or what it is. I'd love to talk to whoever those two people are, or you know, out of everyone who's here, anyone else interested in talking about that, reach out to me directly. But we'll definitely make sure that we are answering the needs that you have. We do give out grants, so there's ways that we can support you financially. We've done that in the past. I think one of our recipients of one of the grants that we had before is actually in attendance. So there's various ways we can support you. Just reach out to me directly. I'll post my email in the chat and let's just have a thorough discussion about it.
Thanks, Ebony. And that's a key point I want to emphasize. I would just say it, you know, we struggled a little bit with 2020 events virtually because obviously we were trying to pivot and go from in person to virtual. And I would just say our attendance wasn't the best, right? And so I would say we would encourage you all to be honest with us, right? And again, answer those surveys and let us know the events that we're putting on are relevant for you. If they're not, we need to pivot. We're here to serve you. We want to see all of our events represented, just like today. We have over 70 people in the room, which is excellent. I would say, you know, we struggled to see that big attendance for many of our events last year. So not just with entrepreneurship. If you guys, we want to know what's going on. If you have Zoom fatigue, if the days aren't aligned with you, let us know in those surveys so that we can better accommodate and ensure that you all can attend our events. All right, I'll do a couple more and then we're gonna go into these great breakout rooms. Can we receive today's PowerPoint? Absolutely, we'll make sure that is in the email that goes out in the next 24 hours, no problem. Do you have any corporate partners in attendance that can share their contact information? We absolutely do. And so for those corporate partners that are in attendance, please drop your, feel free to drop your information in the chat function. And if you guys look at our emails, we actually are doing a pretty good job of highlighting any open roles at our respective corporate partners. So that would be an email. So make sure you read your email. Sometimes you guys scroll a little bit, but you'll see any corporations that have reached out to us and say we want to showcase some jobs. We put those in there. So always keep an eye out on that. Of course, with jobs are here today, gone tomorrow. So don't blame us. Don't shoot the messenger if that job just doesn't exist by the time you read the email. But I would definitely encourage you to do so. All right, I'll do a couple more. Is there a process for getting a mentor within a chapter? For example, a young professional or a professional doing a career shift with someone that's more experienced in a desired career field? Very good question. You know, over the years, we've started and stopped mentoring programs. It takes a lot of work. I'll be transparent with you all with the amount of members that we have. I would say that we don't have a program, but we absolutely have many members who are willing to mentor, and we can try to make that connection for you. So until we get a good sizable amount of people who say, yes, I want to have a mentor program with the Black MBA, we probably won't take on that feat. But we will absolutely do one-offs. So whoever that was anonymously, or if you also are in a crowd and you're like, hey, I want to be a mentor, or I want to have a be mentored, please send me a note at president@dfw.mbas and let me know what you're looking for or who you're looking to service, and I'll make those one-off connections. Again, until we get a pretty sizable amount, we probably won't set up a program yet, but it's definitely been something we've been talking about for many, many years. Okay, so just reach out to me and we'll try to make that connection for you. And we've done that, to be honest with you, we've done that ad hoc, even nationally. We've had many of our lot students who are going off to college, and what I've done is connect them to other chapters. Let's say we have a lot student who's going to Morehouse, right? What I would do is connect with the Atlanta chapter, or reach out into our membership and say, who went to Morehouse? Can you connect with this young woman or a man and mentor them? So we've absolutely done that ad hoc, and I'm okay doing that ad hoc until we feel like we have a good sizable amount to set up a program. Whoever asked that question, if you want to help us set up a program, you can do that too. We need all the help. All right, I think I can go through the rest pretty quickly. I heard mentioning in Growing West, what are some of the thoughts about engagement? Yes, Growing West means basically modeling the efforts that we do pretty well here in the Dallas area, and making sure we can offer the same type of engagement West, which means, having general body meetings West, if they do go in person, partnering with organizations like TCU, who's out West, and ensuring that we're reaching out with their students and providing them relevant content, just like we do with SMU on this side. So everything that we do, we pretty much want to model across the counties. So you'll see that, you'll continue to see that. I think in a virtual environment, it helps us actually do it more efficiently, because everything we do is for everyone, and we may do breakout sessions for, if it's pertinent to geographic means, we may do breakout sessions for Fort Worth or Tarrant County and Dallas County. But everything is for everyone, and we'll try to make sure that we're very broad in our services. All right, I think.
Sharice, there's one in the chat. I don't know.
Yep.
It's about collaborating with other organizations. Daryl posted that, and I'm actually glad he did, because I did forget to mention that when I did my spill about programming. But if you want to address it, or I can, either one.
You go ahead.
So Daryl, the short answer is yes, we do collaborate with other organizations. It's just, as long as it makes sense and it's in alignment with our pillars, we're more than happy to do so. I did not mention, we actually are looking forward to collaborating with the Black Sports Professional Network this year from a programming perspective, tying in business with sports, hopefully around the Olympics. It was slated for last year. As you all know, the Olympics was canceled. So we look to do some content around that, as well as make it maybe a fun happy hour. I think Larry Lundy is on the meeting today. He's over that organization. I've been working with their team, but we do have availability to work with others as well. So if there's any that you know of, I see you mentioned the Black Chambers of Commerce, fraternities, sororities, as long as it makes sense, we're open to it. So feel free to reach out to me, or if it's more in a networking environment, that would be Camille with membership, or if it's community relations, doing something with philanthropy, that would be community relations. So if you want to start with me, that's fine, and I can direct you to the right person. But the answer is yes, we're absolutely open to doing so.
And also collaborating with other chapters, right? That's something that, especially in a virtual environment, we're able to do a lot more. I see Starla, who is a chapter president in Indianapolis, who's on the call as well. And so we always try to expand our events as it makes sense over to other chapters to ensure that we're being efficient. So you'll see more of that to come as we do a lot more collaboration. And again, a lot of us are focused on a D&I journey. Let's collaborate and be more impactful. That is our mission. Okay, well, these are really great questions. I hope you guys like this platform. And if you do, give us a thumbs up or not, but we definitely, we want to make sure we not just answer your questions, but have a repository of your questions, and especially questions that we aren't able to get to. We want to make sure that we address it, especially in this virtual environment where we're not able to be there in person with you. So we'll continue this as long as you guys love it. And with that, I think we can pivot over to the breakout session, maybe. Camille?
Yes, perfect. Okay, so we will now go into our breakout session.